First off, please introduce yourself and tell us which office you're running for.
Hi, my name is Aimee Reiner, and I'm running for a House District Representative seat in the Greater Happy Valley area. That's House District 39.
Now, can you tell me more about what you do professionally?
Yes, I am in sales. I've been in corporate America well over 20 plus years. So my background is sales and marketing. My current position is with a glass manufacturing company. I work for OI Glass and I sell wine bottles, spirits bottles, food jars to distributors all across North America. And then before that, I was with PepsiCo for 12 years, which resulted me coming up here from Oregon. I moved up to Oregon 5 years ago on a job transfer. I was promoted to handle the Kroger business. So I handled QFC and Fred Meyer during COVID.
Hey, do you have any government service background?
With my reserve experience, I spent time in the Army Reserves from 1999 to 2007. So I was a 55 Bravo, which is an ammunition specialist. They don't have that MOS anymore, but some would say I'm that weekend warrior with the Army Reserves. And it was very a difficult time. It was a time when Clinton had the don't ask, don't tell policy. So it was something that I could have definitely have been dishonorably discharged, just giving my lifestyle. But I was very proud to serve my country and was blessed to be able to stand by the flag.
Can you tell me more about your personal biography?
Sure. As I mentioned, I moved up to Oregon 5 years ago with my wife and three amazing kids. We've got an 11-year-old now. His name is Zachary. He is our special needs child. So when we talk about advocating and I get into education, that's really, what drummed up my aspiration to, speak on behalf of the community. And then I have a set of twins, boy-girl twins, Skylar and Bryce, that are 7. I've been married to my wife. It'll be 16 years next week, which she's my high school sweetheart. So we go back many, many generations. But to give you a brief background, I have an undergrad in communication studies with a minor in journalism, a graduate degree in business administration, and I've worked in corporate America for 20 plus years. And when I was younger, in my early 20s, I could say I've been advocating all my life. And in my early 20s, it was, advocating for the LGBT group. And I was working with alongside the Human Rights Campaign to get sexual orientation implemented in discrimination policies in corporate America. So that really, sparked my interest to hang on to the community and to speak for the ones that didn't have a voice. And then from there, I was very, very fortunate to get a full ride scholarship to play Division I ball at Marshall University. That's my alumni. And I can sit here and say that I will always protect women's sports and women's spaces. That's so meaningful and very personal, being that I was a collegiate Division I softball athlete. And then from there, I jumped into the Army. I spent 8 years from 99 to 2007 as an Army reservist and moved back from Huntington, West Virginia, back to California and started my career and, worked my way up through corporations from, Walmart to Enterprise Rent-A-Car, from Coca-Cola, and then Pepsi for the last 12 years, and then with where I'm currently at OI Glass. But along the way, and within the generations, I've been able to really be that leader amongst community and, spark engagement and spark discussion with the folks that don't have a voice or are afraid to speak up. I've been able to give them that voice or be their voice and get their voice heard. So many years, public speaking and many years with helping the community in one way, shape, or form.
Can you tell me more about your community of HD 39 and what makes it special?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a great community here in Happy Valley. It's a very family oriented niche, and the city of Happy Valley puts on so many wonderful community events, and they're really big at bringing the community together, whether that's our big July 4th parade. That's one of the biggest events that the city of Happy Valley puts on. And we get folks from Multnomah County and Washington County over and participating in that parade. And then, we go into Oktoberfest and they do a day-long celebration. But all throughout the month, they're doing special engagements to bring the community together. And then they're great at listening to the community. And I think that's important when you live in a community that's grounded on family and community support, as well as public safety. Those three aspects are great. And ultimately, one of the reasons why we moved to this area, we realized and through discussion that North Clackamas School District was a great school district for special needs students. And we ultimately wanted to get into North Clackamas School District, and it was Happy Valley that came so recommended on where to live, and that's where we're putting our roots and will be for many years to come.
As you talk to constituents in House District 39, what are they telling you that they want the next state representative from the area to focus on?
Yeah, this is such a great question. And there's three really main objections that folks are telling me. And one of them is the economy. We're paying, well over $5 for a gallon of milk now. Food costs have gone up. Gas was up for quite a while, and every commodity has gone up, which is increasing, cost of goods, and ultimately that gets passed down to the consumer. And at the end of the day, we've got less spending money in the pockets, or we're having a difficult time being able to feed our family. I can tell you, we used to spend $120 a week on groceries. And we're really big at budgeting. So we meal plan and everything. And right now our bill is close to $200 on groceries. So being that we cannot continue to tax the state of Oregon or the folks, within the state, that's a big issue, especially here in my district. And the things that are concerning is the fact that when we look at the 2025 legislation next year, the transportation packet will be discussed, and tolling will be back on the docket, which is huge for Happy Valley living, being that we live right off the 205 freeway. So when I'm out talking to voters and constituents, no one can afford that additional $2,600 a year annually for tolling, and that's a major concern. And then we've got the Democrats that might be looking at a gas increase, close to $1 in gas increase, which just puts another strain on my community, especially our marginalized households that are barely getting through and living paycheck to paycheck, and having a hard time feeding their family. So the rising cost of where we're at with inflation, coupled with the taxes that we pay here in the state of Oregon. We're 41st in income tax. And then when we talk small businesses, we're 49th in corporate tax. So small businesses aren't able to thrive or flourish as much as they need to in the state of Oregon. We're losing a lot more small business and that on here in Oregon. They're fleeing, for friendly corporate and business tax states, and unfortunately, we're not one of them. So that's a concern in my district. Another major concern is public safety. My district encompasses the Clackamas Town Center, and we've had some shootings at the beginning of the year at the Clackamas Town Center. There was a shooting at the Cheesecake Factory that was concerning. And when I'm out in public talking to that suburban mom, they do not feel safe shopping in their backyard, and they won't go to the Clackamas Town Center. So now we're having to shop over in Washington County or down the road. No one wants to shop at that Target right next to the Clackamas Town Center. So I've got the suburban mom now shopping in Wilsonville because of their safety concerns. And I think everybody has the right to feel safe in the community that we live in. And what we need to do is ensure that we're giving the police officers and the law enforcement the tools and the resources needed to go out and do their job and hold those criminals accountable for breaking the law. And I'm not talking just the heinous crimes such as murders. I'm talking retail theft and graffiti. Recently we've seen some graffiti around in Happy Valley, and I know everyone within House District 39 takes pride in where they live. That's why we've come here. That's why we'll pay a little bit more for this area, because we love the community and we take pride in our community. But we've seen graffiti pop up, and we've seen some incidents of retail theft within our district. And that's concerning, because we don't want what is happening in Portland and in Multnomah County to start seeping out into Clackamas County and into our city. So public safety is a big issue. And then last but not least is our education. As much as I talk up North Clackamas School District, I was very disappointed that during COVID, my special needs son was unfortunately denied face-to-face learning. And we did our best during distance learning time, and we did our best to try and get accommodations for him. But at the end of the day, he wasn't able to go through face-to-face school through North Clackamas. And that was a hard transition for us. But we worked through the elementary school, and we were able to homeschool him and take on his academics while he still received support through his IEP at his elementary school. So we were thankful for that. But not a lot of families had the flexibility like we did. My wife is a stay-at-home mom, so we were able to lift and shift and do distance learning. And then from there, we transitioned to homeschooling. But a lot of the families didn't have that opportunity. You have families that, both the parents or guardians, both sides work, or if you've got, a single father or a single mother raising children, they've got to go to work, and distance learning really impacted our students. And we're seeing the effects of it now with the 2-year learning loss going through COVID. The Department of Education, Oregon Department of Education, just recently put out another publication on where we stand. And it wasn't a good report. You have 42% of students cannot read at grade level. And mathematics is even worse. I think it came out to 32% of students cannot do mathematics at grade level. And those are concerning. When we look at the rest of the United States, every state was able to somewhat recover or at least move in the right direction. But here in Oregon, we're not moving in the right direction. We're going the opposite direction, and we're doing such a disservice to our next generation that needs to go out and get into the economy and start feeding into the economy with, good paying jobs. So from an education standpoint, I would like to see the graduation requirements come back into play. And we do need to continue to fund our school systems and districts by making sure that funding gets down into the teachers and into the classrooms. And I can give you an example here. North Clackamas School District, we spend about $25,000 per pupil, and that was as of 2023 when I ran for school board last year. And the state average is 16,000, and yet we're not, netting different results, or our results with where our children are from a reading, writing, and arithmetic standpoint aren't very good. So we need to lift and shift funding and reallocate funding, and making sure that funding gets down into the classrooms and gets down into the teachers so that they have the best resources available to correct the learning loss and to help those students that have fallen behind. So from my district, from a standpoint, it's public safety, the economy, and education are the top three that I'm hearing day in and day out with my constituents and my voters. And I'll tell you a quick story. We before the primary, we were out knocking on doors here right next to Clackamas High School, and I knocked on a door that had a yard sign that had their daughter graduating 2024, daughter graduating. And I knocked and I said, congratulations, your daughter's graduating high school. You must feel ecstatic about that. And the mother said, no, I don't. And I said, oh, it kind of threw me off a little bit, right? Because I remember how excited I was when I graduated. And she said, no, I'm not excited at all. My daughter can't read. And that truly stuck a chord. We're passing these kids through without giving them the resources that they need, without helping them where they're at and meet them where they're at. We're just continuing to pass them grade level to grade level to grade level until they graduate, which is such a disservice, because what that's going to end up doing is when they get out of high school and they either transition into either a trade school or a 4-year or a 2-year or go right into the workforce, they're going to have a hard time transitioning because they won't be hireable if you can't read and you can't write. So we've got to get back to basics with our education. It starts with K through 12, and it's going to more competitive by graduating more competitive students along the way to really boost our economy here in the state of Oregon.
Switching gears a little bit, who is your favorite Oregon historical figure?
I liked this question. I had to look this up because, yeah, as I mentioned, I've only been here for 5 years, but this was a nice little research project for me. And I thank you for asking this question. I'm going to a woman named Beatrice Morrow Kennedy. She was a civil rights activist in the early 20th century here in Oregon. She was an editor for The Advocate, and spent many years advocating for African American and the slavery, movement in that early, 1900s. And I think, just her resiliency and her courage to come out, there weren't many editors, within that time frame. So for her to be African American woman doing well and spreading the message of, how much she had to fight, in the racial tension that was there back in the day was just very historic. So, there's a part of me that, coming from the LGBT side with what I had to go through in the early 20s, and here I sit today, and we've got every right imaginable, as everyone else does, and it's a beautiful thing, and I don't have to worry about going down the street anymore and getting called names because we've been accepted, and I relate to her in that area. And she also worked for the Oregon Prison Association as a serving member. So she was out in her community as much as I, feel like I'm out in my community, just helping serve either the privileged or the marginalized, but really a strong, charismatic voice along the way. And we've got an elementary school named after her in North Clackamas School District. So that's pretty cool too. So thanks for asking me that question.
Well, that's pretty cool to bring up a lesser known figure. I love it. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Next up, what are the primary sources of your personal values?
Two that stand out to me are faith and family. We are a family of faith, and I teach my children that power there is a God out there, that he's a loving God, and only wants the best, and to pray to him, and that not every day is going to be roses and sunshine, and that we've got to work hard for everything, but to know that that higher power and that faith is there with you. You'll never be alone. And then family is my other motivator. As I mentioned, I've been married to my wife for 16 years, but we were high school sweethearts. She was 50. We met, and we just had a loving friendship for many years that turned into a loving family. So without my faith and without my family, I wouldn't be here today, and I wouldn't be advocating for as strongly as I am for a community that I love if it wasn't for my faith and my family.
Are there any criticisms you think your opponent may level against you, and do you have any responses to potential criticisms?
Yeah, this one, I went right to where I'm at. From a party standpoint, and I can tell you, many years ago, I was a Democrat, and I walked away from the Democratic Party. I did vote for Obama the first go around, but I've seen the Democratic Party shift. And go too far one way, and lost a lot of the values and personal experiences that I've dealt with. And I can say that, I'm not too far right for many because of my non-traditional family values sitting in the LGBT community. So for the far right, I'm not right enough. And then for the far left, I'm not left enough. I've been told by a few folks from the Democratic side that I'm a sellout to the LGBT community, which is disheartening, because if you knew my history and you knew how hard I was fighting in the 1990s, with the advocacy that I was doing with the Human Rights Campaign, and advocating for sexual orientation and marriage equality in California, you would see that I wouldn't have been a sellout towards the LGBT community. But as we grow older, our values and ecosystem changes, and I realize that where I'm at today is right in that moderate fiscal conservative area. And I think the best thing about me is I'm very well adapted at negotiating and hearing both sides of the spectrum. So as I sit on the Republican Party with where my values are now as an adult, That doesn't mean that I'll shun every Democrat that comes to my door. No, my door is always open for anyone to listen to. And I think at the end of the day, uh, Democrats and Republicans want the same thing. We all want, safer communities. We all want more money in our pocket. We all want to make sure that our kids grow up to be successful. Um, but it might be the route that we take would be different. I stand on the side of less government. I stand on the side of giving parental rights back to parents when we talk about education. I stand, firm on not taxing us at every angle, considering we're taxed at everything. And I think a lot of folks can relate to that, even on the Democratic side. So, from an objective standpoint, I'm not far right enough for some, and I'm not far left enough for others. But I like being in that middle spot, because then I think it encompasses both parties, as well as the non-affiliated voters that can relate to our day-to-day economy and decision making when we talk politics.
Now it's time for my world famous lightning round. First up,
Yeah.
Ducks or beavers?
I am a Ducks fan, and the reason why I recently became a Ducks fan, because my alma mater is a Marshall University, so I'm a home of the Thundering Herd, so go Herd. But we've got Bo Nixon as our quarterback for the Denver Broncos, and I was born in Colorado, and when you are born in Colorado, you come out bleeding orange and blue as a Bronco fan. So go Ducks.
All righty. What is your favorite local landmark in House District 39?
It is the Happy Valley Veterans Memorial Park, right next to City Hall, off of Misty and 160th Street here in Happy Valley. If you have not had an opportunity to look at, the Veterans Memorial Park, it's a wonderful area that encompasses a multi-faceted project that we just recently put an eagle in there that has many different artifacts from many different historical events and war events. But being that I'm a veteran and proud, to salute that American flag, I think that's the most precious to me, is that memorial park, and we get to salute the folks that fought for the freedom that we have here today, and that's a blessing.
Awesome. What is your favorite Oregon beer?
I am a Heffenweisen girl, so I'd have to say Widmer Heffenweisen. It's a great summertime beer. It's citrusy, so when you're out in 90-degree weather, popping a bottle at the end of the day is a thirst quencher.
All righty. What is your favorite restaurant in House District 39?
Oh gosh, this is my family's favorite restaurant. It's actually the Happy Valley Cart Station off of Sunnyside and 142nd. It's a variety of different foods. So, my kids could get their own special food, from pizza to sushi to Chinese, and I either get sushi or Thai, and my wife will usually pick chicken or some sort of other carb. But it's and then at the end of it, we all end up with dessert and ice cream. So it's a great area. It's a good community vibe in the summertime. They've got bingo during the weekdays and other events that bring that community vibe together, and they pour some great draft beer. So Happy Valley Carts, and if you have not been out to it, I'm doing an event on October 23rd called Ballots and Brews at the Cart Station in Happy Valley from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. And I'm going to have Representative Ed Deal in attendance there. And we're going to talk everything that's on your ballot. So if you've got questions on any of the measures or any of the people that are on your ballot, from Multnomah County to Washington County to Clackamas County, come on down. We'll have a ton of resources there to help answer any questions that anyone has with their ballot.
Do you have any final thoughts for our audience?
I just want to say, thank you for allowing me to come on and share a little bit about me and who I am. And I can tell you that, I'm looking forward to hoping to earn everyone's votes. As I mentioned, I'm, that moderate Republican and, sit in that middle of the bipartisan territory. And I think with my corporate work ethic and the negotiation skills that I have and the communication styles, and of course the listening. I think the listening is the most important thing is you got to listen to your community, and then you got to find ways on how to fix what might be broken at the end of the day. And I've got a good niche on learning how to problem solve. And that's what we need in Salem. We don't need any more career politicians. I think we need some fresh blood, especially on the Republican side, that has negotiating skills, that will, draw that party line and stick to it. And sometimes that's difficult, especially when you may not even be in agreement with other Republicans that might be for a bill and you might be against it. But I think we need somebody with some guts that can go in and put a hard stop to some of these bills that are being passed, because we're in a one system, democratic run for 30 plus years. And you can see where we've gotten. We're, last in mental health. We're close to dead last in education. We're one of the highest tax states. And these three-letter agencies, there's no accountability, and they're spending taxpayer money without netting any results. And we need somebody who is tough, that can call that out, and I'm your person. So at the end of the day, I'm blessed for the opportunity and hope to advocate for House District 39 in Salem come time next year.
All righty. Thank you so much for joining us.